Kool-Aid.
Yes, sir.
Were we going to talk about Stephen Castle too, or another prospect? Or
hey, I want to talk about Cody Williams a little bit. We could talk about Stephen Castle as well. But
like Kyle Anderson, Trevor Ariza.
Yeah.
Real quick, and I just threw this at you. What tier of type of player could he be? Is it going to be a Kyle Anderson type? That's Zachary Reese-Sachet.
It's a good comp. I believe that his ability gives him the opportunity on the highest of potential ends. I know KG hates this. To be a type of Tayshaun Prince type of player. 6'9", similar weight class, similar catch and shoot ability, similar ability to finish at the rim. He can defend. He uses his length as well. But that strength got to go. The one thing that we knew about Tayshaun Prince when he hit the league was, despite the fact that he had a smaller frame, Tayshaun Prince was wiry strong from day one. As a rookie, he was able to go and defend the best players as a rookie. He was defending players like AI and T-Mac. Yep. So it's like when you're looking at a guy like Zachary Reese-Sachet, do I have the same sense that he will step in day one and have that type of effect? I don't. And that's where maybe it is more of a Kyle Anderson type, more of a finesse type guy who can defend the wing very well, but at the NBA level, I don't know how versatile he'll be able to be defensively on that perimeter.
I don't want Kyle Anderson at 5. I don't want him at 5.
I know, right? I'm good on slow-mo.
When you're talking about the floor, then that's probably what you're talking about.
I'm seeing Austin Day comparisons in the chat.
I see that too, man. I see that.
Wait, what are you seeing?
Austin Day comparisons.
He's much better defensively than Austin Day,
right?
Dude.
He's much better defensively than Austin Day. At least from the film.
I was a believer. I did
too,
Austin Day is going to work. Amir Johnson, going to work.
Didn't he go to Country Day? I believe he went to Country Day. That's how I first heard about him. I don't know. Yeah, but man, I was a believer of Austin Day as well.
Have mercy.
All right, well, tough days.
I can't wait to see the new top 5 tomorrow. The final top 5, I should say.
Sir.
So you want to go Cody Williams or Stephon Castle?
Hey, you know what? And I know that these are two players that actually JB is pretty fond of. I wanted to get your quick takeaway on Cody Williams as well. Let me talk about him real quick because the Pistons did have reported interest. And it could be multiple things. We talked about this before. It could mean that maybe this is the position that the Pistons are looking at trying to fill in the draft or free agency, or it could mean that they're looking to trade back unless Cody Williams is just shooting up everybody's draft board. But right now, I'm seeing him being mocked anywhere in the lottery from like pick 9 to pick 14. But I've heard that if the Pistons feel this is their guy, you go get your guy at 5. If no proper trade back opportunities present itself. So Cody Williams, 6'8", 190 pounds. So now you're talking about a guy who weighs a little bit less, about 14 pounds less than Zachary Reese-Sachet and an inch shorter, but he has some of those attributes that KG is hoping to see. You talk about a guy that kind of has that dog mentality to him on both sides of the court.
Yes, sir.
I like what Cody Williams has, especially in half-court offense. One of the things with Zachary Reese-Sachet that kind of concerns me is his inability to be effective in the half-court offense as kind of the person with the ball in his hands, as the point of attack on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
With a Cody Williams, you do not have those types of issues. If he has the ball in his hands, you better make sure that his feet do not touch anywhere in that paint because his athleticism will take over. And there's not a lot of people who are going to match up with that, at least in the college arena. In the NBA, things can change. But like I told people with Jaden Ivey, and we've seen this come true, when you kind of hit that paint area, it's like a trampoline to guys that have that type of speed, athleticism, and that quick twitch, that ability to just off one foot, mid-dribble, get up and bang. Straight up bang. You were talking about satisfying that like button. He's banging that like button. That is Cody Williams. And on the defensive end, I do like what he brings to the table. Let's talk about his stats. 11.9 points per game, 3 rebounds a game, 1.6 assists per game for Cody Williams. He can shoot and finish at the rim well. 70% field goal at the rim. So it's a little bit better than Reese-Sachet. And that's what I said. With Reese-Sachet, you're talking about potential. With these guys 5 and below, you're talking about guys who have proven themselves in the college game, and probably their games will translate to the NBA a little bit better. But people believe that players like Cody Williams, Stephen Castle, that they have a capped ceiling, which I don't quite agree with. The more I look at Cody Williams, the more I understand how his name started to pop up. He's really good as well with the floater game. As soon as he gets into that mid-range, he's a guy that has nice touch.
It's a good skill to have.
And you can tell because it translates to out behind the arc, where I hope in the NBA, if his volume increases, I'm hoping that Cody Williams' efficiency increases as well. He did shoot 52.2% from the field on 8.1 field goals per game.
Nice.
And 41.5% from behind the arc, which is really good.
Yeah.
But it's the volume, only 1.7 threes per game.
Okay.
So, but it's something. He was a threat. He's the type of player who, when he catches it behind the arc, if he gives you a little pump and a little hezzy, for some reason the players respect that three enough, despite the volume not being there, that it allows him to get into his bread and butter, into that mid range, where he can really use his floater game, where he can really use his footwork, where he can use his ability to kind of get around defenders and get to the rim as well. So I like a lot of what Cody Williams brings to the table. I hope that with the development, with the strength, and with the shooting, they're able to, as his volume increases, as his workload increases, keep his efficiency up. And like I'm going to say about a lot of these guys in this top 10, you got to get your weight up. You got to get your strength up at the next level, playing against NBA competition rather than college or overseas competition. So I really like Cody Williams. But JB, what about you, man? Talk to me about Cody Williams.
It's definitely a name to look out for and to keep a watch on. He's a younger brother of Jalen or Jaden. I think it's Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams
Thunder?
from OKC.
For the Thunder. Jalen Williams.
Yeah, he's his younger brother of him. One thing you are going to have to watch out is the injuries, because that's what kind of hampered him in college. He had a wrist injury, then an ankle injury. So as long as he can stay healthy during a regular NBA season, then you're golden. But he's definitely someone you should keep an eye on. I've seen him go anywhere as top 3 as his ceiling. His floor probably late first round. But he's still an excellent defender and plays on both sides of the ball that you definitely want and need on your team as well too. Slasher, attacker. He plays aggressive. A nice finish at the rim, as you said, as well too. But he's not also just that first step mindset as well too. He's not just going to go and attack the rim. He's going to attack it, but also see and focus on his teammates as well too, that he can dish that ball out to. So he's not just going to just sit here and just throw up anything. But I definitely think it's someone you need to keep an eye on, but I don't know if 5 is going to be an option for him. That's just saying. Hopefully the Pistons can trade back and maybe pick up another draft pick or another piece from another team and then pick him up as well too, but he's definitely a bigger option that I would like. He is going to have to get in the gym, though, because he is very linky and skinny. So you're definitely going to have to bulk up once you get in this league. But they're also comparing him as well, too, to Jeremy Grant. So if you can have another one like that, would you be willing to take
He has to get the weight up, man. He has to get the defensive chops to that same standpoint. And Jeremy Grant proved he could be a volume 3-point shooter when he got to the Blazers, as well as keep that defensive efficiency up. And he kept his offensive efficiency all improved as his usage rate went down. If he gets the weight up, I do like kind of the shades of it, but he's not quite a Jeremy Grant. He's more of a perimeter kind of oriented player, whereas Jeremy Grant was starting perimeter, but his whole game is downhill, getting downhill into the paint, maybe posting up, doing some turnaround shots as well, some turnaround fades and things. Whereas Cody Williams, he likes more to put pressure on him from a floater standpoint rather than putting his back to the basket and getting more physical.
Yeah.
So
Cody Williams. I love players that have NBA DNA in their DNA.
I think it's Ron Holland. We did talk a little Stephen Castle earlier in our breakdowns, but it's Ron Holland who we didn't talk about.
Got you.
Who is one of the more intriguing players. I told you guys there's a couple of intriguing players to me. Donovan Clingan is definitely one of those guys.
Yeah.
But Ron Holland of the G League at night, small forward, 6'8", 208 pounds. This is a guy who he got the volume. I want to see him shoot better, so I'll just start there. 23.9% from behind the arc.
Eesh.
It's not going to necessarily cut it, but you want to talk about a volume guy. 18.5 points per game, 6.7 rebounds a game, 2.8 assists, 2.1 steals, 2.1 blocks. That's 3.2 stocks per game from your small forward position. That's really good. And overall, 47, almost 45% from the field on 15.5 field goal attempts per game. That boy was gunning, dog.
Yeah.
He was
just
gunning.
taking shots.
So it's like I like the confidence, man. I like the fact that he's stepping out there on the court, and it seems like the only aspect of his game that really got to get right is what he's doing from behind the arc. So
that's the biggest issue.
That's the biggest issue. But in terms of other things, I do feel like this is a guy who'll be able to step on the court and help the Detroit Pistons out right away as well. So Ron Holland, we talked about effectively three and D wings today. That's Zachary Risache, that's Ron Holland, that is Cody Williams. I think Cody Williams, though, might be my favorite of the three that we discussed. Yeah.
Is he the most NBA ready of that group? He's a man. I mean,
Ron Holland
played in college.
Might be. He played in the G League Ignite. He has some strength, man. Like he might be, but I feel like Cody Williams has more upside.
Yeah, he can shoot.
When you put Stephon Castle in that group, like if you add Stephon Castle into that group of three, so you got Castle, Holland, Reece Shea, and Cody Williams. Who's number one of that group? Does Stephon Castle move up?
I think Castle is the dog of that group.
Yeah.
Absolute dog of the group. He's on 6'6", 215 pounds.
I love the
absolute
player.
dog of the group. I love the player.
But
It's just the shooting.
Yeah,
is the
he can't
only
shoot
thing.
either.
I love the player. I hate the fit with the Pistons.
Yeah.
Like, I love the player.
That's the theme of this draft, though.
Yeah.
There's just like, man, because they need so much more. When we talk about like the Tigers and their lack of bats, and I say, hey, get them 1 or 2 bats, and you guys, all y'all baseball players, like Kool-Aid, they need more than 2 bats.
Yeah.
It's like the Pistons need so much more than what this draft can provide that you're hoping at the very least, if they do pick, 1 or 2 or 3 players in this draft, that they're depth pieces, that they're pieces that you're like, yo, these young players now, they're not coming off our bench. They're no longer the players in the top 5 that we're in a position where we have to depend on them. You got to go out there in free agency and make something happen. Even if you strike out and can't get 2 stars, get at least 1 star level player and a couple more vets you can add to this rotation so that Cade's running with NBA players and not, like you guys have alluded to, these development players.
And am I wrong for at this point thinking that if we do draft one of these young guys, they have to shoot more than 34% from 3-point range? Like, we can't be working on 23%, man. That's not going to cut it. The defense can be great, but then we got another Asar Thompson. So it's just like, I don't think this team can afford to bring in another young non-shooting player. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. Like I said, the only way that I can see them doing something like that is if they're trying to align the windows, and that's something that Rob Beard, he kind of put me on. He said, look at how they do their contracts and how they do their windows. It kind of gives you a peer, and that's why we call it windows. It kind of gives you a peer into the moves that they might make for not just now, but for the future as well. So I could see them like, it's kind of like the proverbial draft and stash, how they used to draft a player and then put them overseas.
Yeah, I got you.
I can see them going and taking a player and saying, you know what, we're not depending on him right now. We're gonna make sure we go and kind of fill some of these other positions of need as well. But we do believe in 2 or 3 years he might be the guy.
True.
But at least you're not taking somebody right now and saying, like if they took Cade and said, you know what, we're just gonna shelve him for 2 or 3 years and just let him develop.
No,
you're not in that position at that point in time. Right now, you're in that position where you could do that with one of these draft picks.
And I just think about what Trajan said during the press conference. He mentioned spacing. He mentioned getting more shooters on this team. So if you want immediate impact, I just feel like you can't take a young kid that can't shoot.
That's why Dalton Knecht and Reed Shepherd, despite them not fitting the 3 and D aspect, they're more shooting guards. With Knecht 6'6", Reed Shepherd 6'3". Those guys can just shoot, and it doesn't matter who's defending them. It doesn't matter where they are on the court. It doesn't matter if they're running off a screen.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are doing, like, Rip Hamilton-style plays from, like, 2 and 3 steps behind the arc, bro. Not in the mid-range, behind the arc. And when they catch it and they release, it's just pure.
Yeah.
Period. And the defense, this is what I like about them, more than really a lot of the other prospects. The defense is, like, scared of wherever they are on the court at all times. You see them doing boxing ones. You see them hedging second and third defenders towards people like Knecht and Reed Shepherd, because you can't trust these guys with any amount of space. You can't trust them when you're playing great defense to miss the shot.
Yeah.
So it's like those, to me, if I'm taking any player who I think can come in right away and help this team with some discernible skill right now, for as much as we took Asar last year, like you said, for the defense, where we thought he could be, he can be a number 1 at locking up the wings. You got to go out here and get one of these guys that has an elite trait. And I think Dalton Knecht, Reed Shepherd, those guys present elite shooting capability for you. And I do believe that in terms of 23 years old, Knecht might be that guy to just kind of slot in right away. And I'm going to keep saying it, man. Be a more defensive-minded, a little bit better defensively. But that's like White Sadiq Bey with a better shot. That's my guy. Like,
White Sadiq
correct,
Bey.
man. Correct that mistake.
White Sadiq.
Get that Sadiq Bey DNA right back into the Detroit Pistons organization.
Yeah, man.
Like I said, a little bit
They
better
never
defense, a
traded
little
him,
bit
man.
better shooting. More mature player.
I'm a Sadiq slappy. They never should have traded him, man.
Oh,
They could have developed him into something good, man. They really could have, but
yeah. And I don't know how much you hear the player comparisons of a white player to a black guy, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. He's a hooper, man. Hooper is all I see.
Exactly. We got people wanting to tank for Cooper Flag.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Tank.
And they might not have to tank to actually be in a race for Cooper Flag this year.
You should shoot for the 5th worst record
Please
in the
don't
league.
tank. It'll work when we
So that
tank.
they can jump
Yeah.
up.
It
But I
does
think
not.
This is why the most important decision this offseason probably will come down to who the head coach is.
Yeah.
To me, this team's got to improve on defense, but I don't think you draft for defense. No. You got to draft offense and develop defense. You got to get a coach who can coach defense. If you play defense in this league, like the worst offense in the league, who was it? It's 105 points a game.
Yeah.
Like if you could hold a team under 100, which obviously no one really did, like you're winning the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Like figure out how to play some defense.
In today's NBA, defense is good to have, but in terms of you want your team to be able to outscore the other team. If you got to choose one, you would more likely want to have a team that can outscore the other team.
And you gotta honestly in this NBA, you gotta have a mix. I think that's what we saw when you saw the Celtics and the Mavericks kind of match up. And I get it, that's at the finals level.
But
the
that's
Mavericks
the goal.
had to get there. But the Mavericks got there because defense was humming.
Yeah,
it definitely was. We saw their offense. We saw Luke and Kyrie put up some games in the finals.
True.
But it was the defense ultimately of the Celtics.
Kyrie became a much better defender throughout this. Like I didn't used to think he was even a good defender.
Yeah.
He became I'll call it a good, not a great.
Yeah.
He became a good defender. He has all the tools. It's an effort thing. Lucas sucks at defense.
That wasn't their calling card. In the playoffs, they played better defense than they had played all year, but that wasn't really their calling card, though.
You want to build like the Celtics.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What up, though, JB?
No, I just wanted to show you this potential lineup that I've seen online. Shout out to Jack Kelly.
I hear that smirk in your voice.
He does amazing work online. Check out his YouTube channel. Pistons fan all the way in Australia.
He works for the NBL.
Oh yeah,
in Australia.
that as well too.
Right,
but I wanted to show you this lineup that he put out here. What do you guys think about this? So you got Cade, you got Ivy, you got Simone Fontecchio, Tobias Harris is back, and Nick Claxton.
I'm good.
I'm actually okay with that lineup if that's how the summer ended. It's not 2 stars,
but
I'm actually okay with that lineup.
Ain't the biggest deal that Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham can't really play on the floor together? I think that was our biggest issue.
Just like Trajan Langdon, I don't believe that. I never believed that. At their peak, Cade Cunningham had some of his best moments off ball with Jaden Ivey on the court.
Okay.
When they had some stretches of games this year where they did pretty well, it was with Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
I like what I saw with the Flashes. I want to see them. We talk about what a coach can do for a rookie.
Yeah. Right.
What about what a coach can do for 2nd and 3rd year NBA players who have extreme talent?
Yeah.
I'm okay with them in the backcourt together. That's just me personally.
Obviously.
If the Pistons want to move in a different direction, I'm not mad at that.
Is this an improved unit? Do you think this unit gets you more wins?
100%.
Tobias Harris and Nick Claxton are good additions.
They would 100% be the best starting 5 we've seen this Pistons team have since Dwayne Casey.
Looks like a 30-win team.
Yeah.
Like a ceiling of a 30-win team, which, after 14 wins would be nice, but it's not the core of a 50-55 win team.
Yeah.
Like I see 2 shooters. I see 2.
Well, let me show you their bench as well, too.
I see Tobias.
He's a mid-range.
Go back.
I'm talking 3-point shooting. Mid-range. We're talking floor spacing.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris doesn't help spacing. He's a vet.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Tobias hits the 3 at a pretty good clip.
That's true, but he's getting long in the tooth, though. That's my only thing with Tobias. It's like he's a retread. He's kind of getting long in the tooth. So I just don't know about his consistency going forward. But I mean, I don't know. And do you want Simone at the 3? I would maybe prefer him to be a pseudo 4, but
I think he plays better at the 3, though in pinches.
Defensively, he's not like the best if you got him at your wing spot.
No, he's pretty good defensively. When we did the breakdown of his trade, that was one of the things that actually stood out to me is that he can handle his own on the wing because he has really good footwork, good lateral speed. He's really good in the back pedal as well. So from the wing, I thought that was like his better position defensively.
Okay.
Though offensively, I thought he performed better when he was matched up with Force because he was able to utilize like mismatch of speed, his ability to cut. He reacts very, very quickly to plays as well. And so it's like, I'm not saying that I want this lineup, but if I'm asked, do I think this would be a better lineup than anything we've seen? Yeah, I mean, these are NBA players.
Yeah,
this other one is the bench, the potential bench the Pistons could have. So you got Marcus Sasser, Quentin Grimes, Asar Thompson, Matisse Buzelis, and Isaiah Stewart.
I mean,
if you're seeing both of these, you see Duren is nowhere on here.
Yeah. So Duren got traded, and then my only problem with this is that they're undersized with this bench lineup.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
You're running small, like the whole team's running small, pretty much.
Yeah.
Except
like
for
it.
Nick Claxton, that's your only real true big. So,
I don't like
Yeah,
it.
if that was the summer, it would be kind of to me personally, a letdown, but it would be a better team. It would be a better foundation. It would be a better start than what the Troy Weaver era was. But that's also understanding that Trajan Langdon is starting at a place where Troy Weaver already had some good work in place. Free agency, cap space, money, young assets that you could trade, which in this scenario, they've taken advantage of all that. They traded to Jalen Duren. They took a top 5 draft pick. They used their cap space. So it's like with you guys overall, I'm like, I wouldn't do it. In terms of, is it better if we have to break down what this is? It's a better team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not a team that moves the needle for me.